What just happened? I'm Dan. That is Xander. No longer going by Bagface. It confuses everyone. So Xander is his real name. There you go. Now you know. So today we're here to talk season 3, episode 6 of From, called Scar Tissue. And if you guys are new here, what we do is we take your comments and we make theory videos out of them. So you got 2 days to get them in, basically 1 day to get them in. And we're going to pick the best ones and make a theory video out of it. If you want to send a video in, tag us on Instagram, Twitter, or TikTok at Scene Invaders, and we'll get you in the video. That's really fun. We've done it the past 2 weeks. So that's a nice way to get you guys involved even more. So this week starts off with Tabitha. It turns out she had a nightmare and she's feeling guilty. It's a common thread throughout this whole episode. She's like, you know what? Maybe they were right. Maybe I should have did more when I was on the outside world. And she has this going through the whole episode. I mean, I don't think she could have done any more, to be honest.
Yeah, everyone freaking out that she didn't tell people, like, oh, I was stuck in this magical town with vampires that I couldn't leave, and there was a tree, and like, there is no possible way to say that without sounding like you're completely insane.
Yeah, there's really nothing. And she was what, a couple days, and then she was back in Fromville. So it's, what can you do? Like, yeah, I know you feel guilty, but you should get over it. And then how about Jim? He's being Mr. Nice Guy at first, and then he literally says, all right, you want me to be the bad guy? And then he brings up the divorce. And that's like the first time they ever talked about it, right?
Yeah.
Formally talked about it.
Like, yeah, really gotten into it, yeah.
Yeah, so he brings that up. They start screaming at each other. He's like, you left when you wanted to leave when Thomas died. You always want to do things on your own. That's why you didn't want me to come with you to the tree to free the kids or whatever the hell you were doing. You know, you always want to be on your own. And they start screaming. And yeah, Julie hears it. So shit gets wild.
Says the dude who, like, didn't tell anyone that he heard the voice on the radio, wanted to build the radio tower alone, wanted to do the drone shit alone. Like,
yes,
he's just the most hypocritical person on the show. Yeah. I can't stand Jim, man. It drives me crazy.
I feel like a lot of the commenters agree. Like, he's one of the least liked characters on the show. Yeah, and he's not going anywhere. I doubt he gets killed anytime soon.
Oh, I'd be so happy though. Oh man.
Yeah. So we'll see. And it turns out Jim left to get more food at that lake they've been going to. Something comes up with that lake with those figures that Tabitha saw when she was a kid. We'll talk about later. Interesting stuff. So Julie heard the fight and she's like, at least some things are getting back to normal. Because apparently they fought a lot in real life. So that's sad.
Yeah. It's a little sad. Yeah. But it was, I don't know, man. They played that whole scene really well. It's just like the kids that are stuck in the middle of just like, cool. Yeah, no, been there before. I'll go get my brother. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll go get him. Breakfast time. Okay, fine.
Yeah, it was really well done.
I'm starting to like Julie a lot more too. I don't know about you.
Me too, man. She's good this season. Yeah.
Yeah, she's good. So Boyd and Jade, they're talking about the lighthouse, and Boyd's like, I thought you brought me here for something like important. What are you doing? He doesn't quite understand what Jade is doing. And he's like, what if there's a dimensional rift that Tabitha went through? You know, he's throwing out all these theories, right? He really doesn't know, and he's trying to piece anything together to make sense of it, right? So he says the bottle tree was important to Miranda. It has to be important to us. She was the only person that had a connection to this place before she arrived. We find out that's not true later. And Boyd says, what about the other bottle tree? And Jade's like, huh? There's another bottle tree? What are you talking about? You got to show me this tree. So that's crazy. And he's like, well, this one didn't have a portal.
Did you realize that? Did you know there was a second bottle tree?
Yeah, I noticed it because the commenters pointed it out.
I always thought it was the same one, so I'm glad somebody caught that. Yeah.
Yeah, they were like, there's a second one, but it's not a faraway tree. It doesn't have the portal. It's just a regular tree with bottles on it. So he's like, I need to see this. Boyd points out he pulled down a note that had 1864 on it. So if that means something to you, we had fun with the last numbers. Comment below what you think about those numbers.
Hold on. Is that the era of the Civil War, or am I crazy?
I think you're correct on that.
Yeah. Someone fact check me because I'm too lazy to Google, but I feel like that's around the Civil War.
Well, Jade pulls a note off the wall, which I believe said 1864. We find out later that the tree has the same numbers in it as the other one. So there's some significance to it. I'm not that smart to figure it out yet, but I will figure it out. I just need to get sober, just like Jade, you know?
Yeah.
Boyd goes to see Randall. He still kind of feels bad about leaving him on his own. Doesn't talk to him yet. Chrissy spots him and says he's doing better. And she's like, hey, that ambulance was fully stocked. We got a fucking ultrasound machine. You got to go tell Fatima. He's like, all right. Let's go. That's cool. Which that scene was crazy, and I want to theorize about that in the theory video because what the hell was that all about? We'll get to it. And then we see Fatima, and she's talking with Ellis, and he's like, "Yo, we got to go to Christy. We got to talk about what you're doing." And she's like, "I really don't want everyone to know I'm eating rotten food." and people are going to be scared of me. You're scared of me right now. He's like, I'm not scared of you. I'm just concerned. So what do you think about that?
Fatima kind of gets on my nerves a little bit. She's just a little aggressive
Yeah.
about everything when like clearly everyone's just trying to help. And I guess I probably feel the same way if I was in her position. Like I don't really want to know what's in me, and I don't really want to know what's going on. I'm just gonna act like it doesn't exist and carry on. But
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
And she kept saying that we'll go tomorrow. We'll go
yeah,
tomorrow. Yeah. And like,
yeah, yeah.
wants to put everything off and act like everything's fine. This is when Boyd knocks and he immediately senses something wrong. So we'll come back to that scene in a second. And then Tabitha goes to see Donna down. What the hell is she doing when she was throwing the rocks down? But it makes sense later. She's like, basically it's like a shrine to Dale, I guess, like covering her body up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that makes sense. And she's like, were you guys close? And that made me laugh because they're married in real life.
Yeah.
Were you close? Yeah. So that made me laugh. And they talk about her kids, and she's like, look, your kids just need you back. It doesn't matter about anything that happened. They just need you back. Donna's trying to comfort her. She's really good in this scene. And she said again, well, what if I wasted my opportunity of being out there? Like, she still feels bad about this. And then they hug. A common thread throughout this episode. She says it a few times. She feels bad, but I honestly think there was nothing more she could have done. They were going to the bottle tree. They got in a car accident. And then she ended up back in Fromville.
It's a little frustrating to me that she's like, oh, I couldn't have done anything. And like, you found Victor's father and figured out that Victor's mom was having visions of this place. Like, you got a lot done and a lot of information considering you're only out for a few days. Everyone should kind of give her a break and maybe start putting pieces together.
Yeah, give yourself some more credit. Yeah. Cut yourself some slack.
Come on, Tabitha.
Yeah, come on. You've been through enough. And then Henry and Victor, they're headed towards the tunnel. And he says, what I'm going to do is going to save everyone. He thinks Jasper's the key. Jade thinks the bottle tree is the key. Everybody thinks they found the key to solve everything, right? That's like the point of this show. Everybody wants to solve it and be the hero to save everyone. Victor tells Henry he shouldn't come with him. And he's like, I already lost you once. I'm not losing you again. We're doing this together. So they head inside. We see what happens later. That shit's creepy down there, dude.
Oh, yeah.
That is very creepy. I was so spooked by the last scene we saw in the tunnels. We'll talk about it. That's just creepy as hell. So Boyd's talking to Fatima and Ellis. They told Boyd about what's going on with the rotten food. So it's nice. Some more communication. We've been asking for this and we're getting it, like more and more and more, it's happening. And he's like, look, guys, there's an ultrasound machine. That's what I came here to tell you. Well, like we just said, she doesn't want to go. She's like, we'll go tomorrow. And Ellis is like, we can't just hope it's going to get better. We need to see what's going on. So Ellis is being the mind of reason right now. Fatima's just scared, and that's fine. So they're going to go. Randall is awake. Mary wants to change the bandages, and he has some pretty gnarly cuts on his face, dude. That shit was gross.
It's like Joker scars, man.
Yeah, it really was. Like one that went down his cheek there. Yeah, that's crazy, man. So he's like, I want to see it. So he gets a mirror, looks at it, barely looks at it, puts the mirror down. And I have a theory about one of your theories later. So stay tuned for that. And then Kenny is looking for a screwdriver. Julie is blazing again. I don't know what the point of that scene was. I didn't really get much from it.
It's something's coming to a head with those three, like Julie and Randall and Marion.
And Mary. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense because of what they talk about later. So Victor and Henry, they're back in the tunnel. They're back in the tunnels. He says Jasper should be right here. Last time I was down here, he was here. And he's like, well, we need to go outside and regroup. He's like, no. I know where I am. He should be right here. This is where I saw him. All right, we need to go deeper. And then that's when I get creeped out when they go deeper. That shit's crazy, dude. Oh, my God. So Fatima agreed to the ultrasound, and Elgin takes her picture. And I wrote down, need to see that picture. Turns out not to be really a big deal. It's just more of Elgin seeing shit. But we'll talk about it when it comes up. And Jade is talking to dead Tom. Yo, first of all, I miss Tom. Second of all, they did him dirty when he died. It was like not a big deal. Like, no one ever talked about it. He was a cool character.
He was a super cool character. Like, it kind of bums me out that like Dale gets this like shrine and like a scene post death, and that guy was just like, oh, he's gone.
Oh, he's gone. Yeah. No, they never talked about it. No funeral. No nothing.
I'm glad. I'm still glad they brought him back though.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
I hope he's more scenes. Like Father Kotri has more scenes.
Yeah.
So
well, and it's making me really think that one of the theories that we were talking about, I think in the last theory video, was that all these people are the boy in white, like taking a different form. I'm kind of starting to get that vibe a little more.
So all the visions are the boy in white.
Like Father Kotri and Randall.
Yeah. Love that. Because when Boyd asked Father Kotri directly. He's like, "What are you?" He's like, "I'm afraid I can't answer that for you, Boyd." So yeah,
Yeah.
that would make sense if that was true. So Tom talks about Jade's visions. Jade is saying that these visions have to mean something. Miranda's visions specifically about the bottle tree. And he's like, "What about your visions? You've been seeing crazy shit in the Civil War guy." He's like, "That's different. That's different." And he's like, "Well, guess what? What do you got?"
Oh, I was gonna you're gonna keep going, but I was gonna say I think he was trying to tell him like, no, these are all the same thing. I didn't think he was trying to be like those visions that you had were nothing. I thought the point of that conversation was him being like, the bottle tree means the same thing that your visions of the Civil War guys means, and it's all
Mm.
connected. That's the kind of vibe I got, but Jade didn't really quite pick up on it.
Yeah, he didn't. And then
Yeah,
it's funny. He says, "If you want to beat this place, sober up." And then he kind of screams at him. There's a nicer way you could have made your point as Tom vanished. So
yeah.
that's cool. We'll
Well,
see
I'm
if he
just
comes.
telling him like, man, you need a little tougher skin. You kind of need to buck up. And I don't
Yeah,
I love the Jade arc that we're getting this season. It's so good.
yeah, dude. He's my favorite character. I love Jade so much. He's great. And then Ethan and Tabitha are talking as she hears something upstairs. This was in the trailer. We did a trailer breakdown on that. You guys did a trailer breakdown on, and she sees the Ankui kids. So that's what she saw upstairs. And she's like, "Look, I tried to help you guys. You know, I'm a friend." She's freaking out. She keeps saying, "No, no, 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 no." Ethan walks upstairs and they disappear. So kind of interesting that she saw them again after, for the first time since being back. So I wonder if that'll be a common theme throughout the rest of the season. What do you think?
I hope so. Yeah, I was a
Yeah.
little worried that like because she got out and came back in, maybe she wasn't gonna be like the person anymore. She wasn't gonna have those visions anymore. So it
Mm.
was almost a relief that she saw the kids, and I was like, okay, she's still in it. It's still good to go, kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah, I
Yeah.
agree. And then Donna's finishing up Dale's little shrine thing, and she goes, he deserved more than this. And Kenny says, "No, no, this is dignity, this is nice." And he says, "Hey, I want to move to Colony House. My mother would have wanted that house is for a family. My mother would have wanted them to have it after everything that happened. So I don't really fit there anymore." So maybe that was the point of him looking for the screwdriver and seeing that they changed things around. And he's
Yeah.
like, "I don't belong here anymore." So now it makes kind of sense in my brain anyway. And he goes, "You don't have those sex parties anymore, do you? Remember that in season one when
Yeah.
people would just be fucking in the middle, like out in the open, just fucking."
Yeah. Just in
Yeah,
like that weird Julie kisses Fatima, but that never really
yeah,
went anywhere. It was
yeah,
super weird. Yeah.
yeah. There was a bunch of horned up people in season one, and now they're just all scared. So that's funny. So that's nice. Kenny's gonna move to Colony House. It's gonna be cool to see him interact with those characters and have kind of a different arc for the rest of the season. That's kind of cool. And two people moved. We're getting to it. Ethan and Tabitha go see Jade to help with his puzzle, which got more interesting. He tells them about the second bottle tree and how all the numbers are the same. Second numbers on the second bottle tree are in cursive, but they're the same numbers. And some of the numbers are repeated over and over again. And he's convinced somewhere in there is a key to understanding everything. Are you convinced with that too?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a really important piece. There was also the part where Ethan notices that that 2 is backwards, and then Jade is like, "Oh yeah, there's a couple sevens that are backwards, and it's
Yeah.
always kind of random." I think that's like a really important part of what's going on. It's going to be how they click the pattern into place with all the numbers is something to do with some of them being backwards.
Okay. I
Yeah.
like that. If you guys got something on the numbers, theorize below. We love that stuff. And Randall's good to go at first. He's given directions on how to take care of his face. And he talks about how when they were chained to the wall, and she really doesn't want to talk about it. He's like, "What if it's not over?" And she's like, "Oh, stop." And he's like, "Yo, you get to pretend that things are okay. I'm in that bus. That shit's scary as fuck. I have to look at these monsters all night long. I barely sleep. That sucks." And she's like, "Well, don't go back. Stay here. I'll talk to Christy. We got room. You can move in here." So he's like, "All right, cool." Yeah, he finally has a place to stay. And this is what I was talking about earlier. This could go with your theory that you think that when Randall changes, because we have a theory that Randall's turning into a monster, when he turns, he'll kill Mary first because now he's living with her,
That
right?
was yeah, that's my theory. I don't know if he's gonna change now because he feels like he's on the other side of it. But damn, man, I don't know. I kind of really like that they almost humanize Randall in that scene a little bit, where he's like, "No, man, I'm terrified out there." And you're
Yeah,
like, "Okay,
yeah,
nice. Like, I need you to be a person a little more than just like a comic book villain sometimes."
yeah, yeah, yeah. I like that
Yeah,
a lot too. So
yeah,
now he's gonna be living with those two. So that's cool. Two people
yep.
moved. move settings, and we'll see what happens with that. Only 4 episodes left this season. I'm getting sad, man. I'm gonna miss this show.
Me too,
So
man.
Henry and Victor. All right. So he keeps placing these toy soldiers down, so he doesn't so they don't get lost. But he only has like 1 left, right? And then they see the room where Jasper's at, and then they see the monsters sleeping. Holy shit! He takes Jasper, and then Henry sees something that belonged to Miranda, and he starts freaking out, which wakes the monsters up.
Oh.
And then the monster goes, "Hey, you keep coming down here, you're gonna have to stay." That made my bones tingle. That was so scary. That was creepy as fuck.
I feel like that's a little bit of foreshadowing. I feel like Victor's gonna be the big sacrifice to kind of save everybody. I think that's how this is all gonna play out in the end.
Okay.
Yeah. Man, he had some really good scenes this episode. I love Victor, dude. Yeah.
He really did.
Yeah.
All right, now this is something you told me to remind you of. So Henry and Victor get to Victor's hideout, and he goes, and Henry's like, "Why do they have Miranda's sweater or her item?" And he's like, "They like to take things. I don't know. That's what they do. Don't worry about it." He's like, "I used to hide in here," and that upsets Henry because he was like, "When you were alone, oh, my kid, you were alone." So that's sad.
It was nice confirmation of how long Victor was probably alone for in the town too. Because I always wondered, like, after everyone died, how long did it take people to come back? And like, I feel like it took a little while, which is kind of fucked, man. He was just out in that town alone. That's insane, dude.
Scavenging for food, just a little ass kid on his own. Man, that's great. I feel like you could do a whole sequel series based on his time alone.
Oh,
like, honestly.
Oh man.
There's enough lore there to make something else out of it. So this is, you spotted something in this scene.
Yeah.
So
when they're in the truck, Victor is giving the speech to his dad, talking about Jasper and how he told stories to Christopher. And right behind Victor, he has drawn a map of the town and the surrounding areas. And you have, the town is in the middle. There's forest around. It's in a big circle, which I think is a huge clue because the map, everything is in a circle. But you see like little mountain spots, which I'm pretty sure is where Sarah and Boyd made it to when they go through the forest and they're walking up those mountains and something sends them back down. I think that's what that's supposed to be. I think you can see the lake where they found the food in the very bottom, which is like the opposite of the mountains. There's a whole bunch of spots. Right at the top, it looks like there's a big tall structure, but it kind of looks like a big person, which is terrifying, but it could be the lighthouse. But I think it might be a sign of like, there's some big bad dude up here. That's kind of what it clicked in my mind. But yeah, I'll put it up on screen. I'm going to do the edit today, so I'll put it up. You guys can tell us what you think. If you can find any symbols or any meaning in there, there's something in there for sure that I know we need. Yeah.
We want some theories on this for the theory video. So what do you got on this? Let us know. The man in yellow? Anything on that? I don't know. Just saying. Just saying. So he's like, it's all good. We got Jasper. He knows things. We have to make him tell his story again. He told a story to Christopher. He's got to talk. And Henry's like, but that's just a toy. He's like, oh, he'll talk. You'll see. You'll see.
Seen weirder shit in this town, man.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. I like their scenes together. It's nice, you know?
Yeah.
They
got good chemistry too, man. It's really good.
They do. They do. All right, ultrasound time. She doesn't see anything at all. Says you're not pregnant. Fatima freaks out. That can't be right. Check again. So they check again. They say, look, right here, there should be a baby the size of an acorn or some shit, like they said. There's nothing there. And then check somewhere else. Mary's like, there's nowhere else to check. You're not pregnant, lady. You're not pregnant. And then she's like, well, what the hell? There's something in me. You got to find it. What's going on? So Ellis says, speak up. It's time to talk to them about everything that's going on. So they do, but we don't see that scene, which I'm excited to see them talk about that later, because now more people know about Fatima's issue, how she's eating raw food, and we'll see if that comes to be a bigger picture or what's happening with Fatima. If you have more theories, you know, people think that she's turning into a monster. I kind of do. Some people think she's the kimono lady. When I bring that up, that also pisses people off in the comments, like how they don't look anything alike. So that could go either way. We'll see. But speaking of that, Elgin is hanging up the Polaroids, right? And Fatima's picture, for a moment anyway, has the kimono lady in it. So that lends credence to that theory that she could be the kimono lady. And I know that pisses some people off, but I just got to say it. So then he sees a vision of her and she's like, help me. I can save you. I can help save everyone. I can get everyone back home. And then he snaps out of it and she's not in the picture anymore.
I feel like the Fatima connection is a red herring. Like, I don't know if it's Fatima. I don't know if that woman is Fatima. I feel like the show really wants us to think that it's Fatima.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I literally have nothing. I have no idea what is going on with that woman.
Yeah, it's creepy shit, man. But I think we went from a place of thinking that she was bad to now we're in the same mindset. I think that she's trying to help.
Yeah.
So I think we can agree on that.
I don't know if these timelines coincide, but I feel like Elgin started getting those visions around the same time Fatima got pregnant. So if anyone can remember those specific times,
Good point.
Those might be connected.
Very good point. Yeah, very good point. That's true. Theorize below. I know you guys got something on that. All right, last scene, guys. Last scene of episode 6. Ethan and Jade are trying to figure out the pattern of the numbers. Jade tries to calm down Tabitha and says, they ain't cooey kids. They just want your help, right? So they're not trying to hurt you. So calm down. And she's basing this off of what Miranda said, someone who died 40 years ago. So what's up with that? And then we see what I thought was a flashback of Tabitha in the town as a child. Turns out maybe to be a dream. Maybe she was in the town as a child. That's also possible. And she just has repressed memories. So that could be because when she saw the scarecrow looking things, that brought out a memory. And she's like, 3 red rocks in a circle. Did you see that? How do you know about that? Miranda wasn't the only one to have visions of this place before coming. I did too. I just didn't know it yet. So that's what we got. Awesome ending scene. That's
so good.
So cool.
Yeah.
Great.
Well, and I need the answer to what the fuck is going on with those scarecrows and those rocks. So I'm glad that it feels like we're getting there.
And it's kind of odd, like not odd, but it's I like how they did it of not having Tabitha be on the crew to go get the food ever, so she never saw it. So she only got this memory because she saw a picture of it, right? And then she was like, "Oh my god, I knew about this place before I came too." So she's a chosen one. You got something?
At the premiere of this season, they all went down to LA. They did a big photo op, and I zoomed in, tried to see everyone that was in the picture. Jim was not in the picture with the cast.
Oh, damn.
I wonder if he dies.
Damn.
Dude, I wonder if he dies. I wonder if they kill him off at the rocks, and that's why she had visions of it.
Oh, shit. Because remember, she looked up in like horror in her dream?
Yeah.
That could be what.
Oh, shit. Man. Oh, dude, if Jim dies, I'll be kind of happy. Kind of sad, but kind of happy.
just like when Dale died. Have that? Oh,
yeah. Oh, it's sad, but yeah. No, man, because we were theorizing that someone is going to die down there because they took down those scarecrows.
And he's there right now.
He's there right now.
Oh, boy.
And it would be a nice, cool character moment because it's kind of Tabitha's fault that he went down because they were fighting, and it was not really like her fault, but she kind of instigated it. Man, I don't know.
I like it.
I like it, dude. I was wondering why he wasn't in the cast photo, and it would make sense if he died this season.
It would. That is fantastic stuff. I love it. All right. What do you guys think? It's your turn. Get those theories in now. What do you think about what we just said? What's your best theory? Theory video in 2 days. We're going to read as many comments as we can. It's tons of fun. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you in a couple days. Later.
Peace.